Electrical Engineering at MIT and UCSD, during which time he wrote his seminal textbook, Principles of Communications Engineering, a book still in use today. In 1985, Jacobs and others founded Qualcomm to build mobile, two-way satellite communication systems. Jacobs soon advocated for a new digital telephony standard developed at Qualcomm known as CDMA. CDMA would maximize transmission rates, allowing for high-speed wireless data transmission, in turn making possible the mobile data-driven world of today. Tonight we honor Irwin Jacobs and present a short summary of his contributions to computing.
All the phones in this.
Sounds like a bunch of mobile phones going off.
In any case, reminds me of my first visit, or my most recent visit here before this special honor, and that was in celebration of the 30th anniversary of that internet experiment that was shown on the video, where we connected up 3 different networks, one of which was our SatNet over to Europe, and showed that the protocol would indeed work with 3 different types of networks and make them work reasonably well. We didn't think of that being very special, but of course it has been very much become that. The next visit also I took advantage of. When I was a senior at Cornell, I did a project, and that project was building a digital differential analyzer out of parts from an IBM 650 computer. And for those that might remember, that was a magnetic drum machine with logic elements that were very large, 2 gates to a fairly large stack. And so when I came here, the first thing I wanted to see was a digital differential analyzer, and there is one here made by Bendix, I think, and of course an IBM 650 computer. So it brought back lots of very special memories. I had the opportunity today to go down and take a quick tour of everything, go up, go down, of everything that's been going on in the museum, and found actually one of the very first products that Qualcomm had made. When we started, we didn't have any products in mind, but we did go ahead and develop a terminal for use by the trucking industry, a satellite terminal that could work across the entire continent. Downstairs, when you go and take a look, you'll see there's a bicycle. And on the back of the bicycle is one of our terminals providing internet connectivity for that bicycle. So if you want to go biking across country, that might be one of the solutions. Of course, now with cell phones, we don't quite need that solution. The other aspect, we began to look at CDMA back when we first started the company, had to delay it until we had this project OmniTrax that provided some cash flow, and then returned to look at the use of CDMA. And it was a huge battle. There were these religious wars that went on for a number of years between TDMA and CDMA, and they continued through what's called the second generation of cellular, the use of digital, mostly for voice. But then, about 2000, we began to look very hard at using the CDMA technology for digital data, for very efficient, high-rate mobile access, and came up with a number of very good ideas that led to this whole 3rd generation of cellular that now supports perhaps 3 billion users around the world accessing the internet that way. Well, as Steve mentioned earlier, we also realized that just having the communication capability wasn't enough, that one also needed to have a device that had a lot of computing power. and it had to run on a battery. And so we made a decision, and it was a little bit of a controversial decision, to go and set up a group, actually back in Research Triangle Park, to focus on how do we build processors that sip the energy from the batteries. And of course, we've been working at that ever since, and the results just become more and more exciting. The device we carry in our pockets has a huge amount of computing power, as well, of course, as the ability to take panoramic pictures, as well as to get position location, just all types of interesting possibilities. And so we focused on that and have very much been involved with continuing what I think will be yet another several generation of Moore's Law, continuing to further improve the capabilities of those chips. But the exciting thing is that not only do you have all this capability in your pocket and very high data rate internet access, but now more and more types of sensors that you can attach to the phones and kind of sense the world around you, the environment, all types of other possibilities, plus across a number of internal functions. And so I think the impact that these cell phones have had on our lives has been immense to date, but really just beginning. I think we're going to see all kinds of breakthroughs in health, education, and many other areas. So looking back, I would say that probably the one regret I have at this point, a fairly minor one, but it was mentioned that we named the company for quality communications. So on the end of Qualcomm, we have two M's. But now I think most of our people, or a good percentage of them, are working on computing. So the regret is that perhaps we should have ended it with one M and covered both computing and communications. Great joining this wonderful group of pioneers in computing, and I look forward to many more visits here to the Computer History Museum and watching what's going on. And by the way, I would hope that in the future there's a very large display of cell phones and the computing capability of cell phones. And the lucky aspect is it doesn't take much space. Yeah.